Hey polish fans, welcome to another video here at Wild Moon Lacquer. It's Caroline again, and we are going over another Goodwill nail polish haul. So I actually have quite a few of these stacking up here, so I am going to try to get a few videos of these posted here soon. That way I can get back to trying to organize my nail polish. Of course, I've also been trying to organize my nail polish for about a year, so it is definitely an ongoing process. But we've got more to add to it. So let's start with this one here. So this bag has a lot of OPIs in it, and this one was $3.99. And there definitely seems to be some fun ones in here. So let's see what we got. All right, so let's start here just because it looks like we've got a pink glitter topper. This is by My Beauty Spot. This is actually a pretty fun polish. I don't think I have anything quite like it, but this should be a nice fun one to add to the collection, and it seems to be moving around nicely in there. So that again was from My Beauty Spot, and I forgot to look for a name. It doesn't have one. The next polish in this bag that I got is an OPI. This one is called Midnight in Moscow. Look how beautiful that is. It is a very darkened base, possibly a black base in there, and then you've got a whole bunch of that red to gold shimmer. It's really beautiful, and I can't tell if there's something else going on in there or not, but that red shimmer in there is very, very strong. So this is a beautiful polish for sure. I'll have to see how it compares to a few of my other burgundies, but that was OPI's Midnight in Moscow. Then there's this OPI. This one is called Bubble Bath. I did recently get this in another Goodwill bag, so now I have two of them. Chances are for a milky tone like this, I probably don't need two bottles, so I'll most likely be giving one away, but for $3.99 for the bag, it's definitely worth it. So that again was Bubble Bath. The next one is a beautiful, fun topper from Sinful Colors. This one's called Frenzy. Look how fun that is. That is a really neat mix of purple and blue glitters. Definitely a topper. As you can see, it's in a clear base, but that should be fun to play around with. I think that'll look nice on the nail. So that was Frenzy by Sinful Colors. The next one is another OPI. Like I said, there is a lot of OPIs in this bag. This one is called Honey Rider, and this is in their liquid sand formula, so it's going to dry to a sandy texture. And gold normally is not my favorite color of nail polish. It sort of falls into the realms of yellows for me, where they really have to be in a very specific tone range for me to enjoy them. This, however, is almost on the antique side of gold. I feel on camera it is showing up a bit more of a yellow tone. In real life, it is a very soft, sort of brushed antiqued gold, and I think I would like this in some manis, and with that sand texture, that's definitely unique, so I'll be curious to give that a try. I think the color might work very nice for some fall manis, maybe even for some interesting textured stamping. Has anyone tried that with this? I'd be curious. So this one is again OPI's Honey Rider. The next OPI is this bubblegum pink. This one is called Kiss Me I'm Brazilian. Pinks are not necessarily my favorite thing, although they are growing on me. This particular shade will probably be a nice one for summer. I'll have to see how it does compared to some of my other pinks, although I'm pretty sure I don't have that many, if any, that would fall into this bright of a pink. I would be curious to see how this looks on my nail though, so I will definitely have to give it a try. So that again was Kiss Me I'm Brazilian by OPI. The next OPI is this beauty here. This one is called On Her Majesty's Secret Service. This is a beautiful, deep, sort of dusty blue blurple. It is so neat. And what makes this really special is all of that shimmer in it. So you've got this little glass fleck in there, shimmering away in golds, purples, and I want to say there might even be some micro glitter in there, which is really hard to tell because the base is so mysterious looking, but this looks like another really good beauty. Cannot wait to see how this one swatches. I have heard the name before, but I honestly am not sure if that's just because it's a Bond movie or if I actually have heard of this polish before. Sometimes it's hard to say. In any case, that one was OP Eyes on Her Majesty's Secret Service. The next OPI has a little bit of spill damage on it, but this is another OPI, and this is TZ Does It. This one's very interesting. Look at that. This is almost like a smoky purple base, so you know I love it. I love those sort of shade ranges of nail polish. This is somewhat similar to Midnight in Moscow, except it is a definitely dustier purple when you compare the two. Hopefully that's going to come across on camera. Actually, when you compare them, they are definitely totally different. Similar ideas, but very different executions. So TZ Does It is definitely one of those dusty, dark purples that I really like. Midnight in Moscow is definitely a darker, almost blackened base, if not a deep, deep charcoal. And the shimmers are completely different. The Midnight in Moscow definitely has a shimmer, whereas TZ Does It is a glass fleck. So I did think that they might even be the same nail polish when they were in the bag, but they're, like I said, very different. So this one I think might be a favorite. I think this one is going to be a beautiful nail polish for fall. Oh, look at that. That is so beautiful. This and this, actually just this, is probably well worth the $3.99. I don't know that you can find OPIs for $3.99 other than in clearance at like TJ Maxx, and then every once in a while I find them at grocery outlet. So really stoked with the polishes that I've had in this bag so far. So this one is, again, is TZ Does It, and that is definitely a favorite of the bag. Lastly, in that $3.99 bag is this beautiful purple from Sinful Colors. This one is called Fiji. Now I don't know if I have this one, but if I don't, I'm glad I do now, because look at this. So glowy. This is a really interesting purple. I think the bottle definitely needs to be mixed up a bit, but look at that. Purples are definitely my jam. I absolutely love them, so this one is going to fit right at home in my collection if I don't already have it. So really beautiful color here. Another nice one from Sinful Colors, and another beautiful purple. So that again was Fiji. Alright, so we're going to get those out of the way to open up bag number 2. Now, this one was $5.99, and the reason I got this one is this nail polish here. Now, I can tell you right off the bat, I know it's drying out because I don't see movement, but you'll see why I got it anyways here in a moment. I do believe it is another somewhat hard to find polish. I've definitely been lucking out finding those recently, so that could be, if I can rescue it, a good find. So we'll just get right to it. So this is OP Eyes, Mad as a Hatter, and as you can see, it is definitely drying out in there, but I'm curious to see if some nail polish thinner can help bring it back to life, because it is a really fun nail polish. As you can see, it's got just about every single color under the rainbow of micro glitters and possibly glass flecks. I'm not really sure, but it's really fun. Definitely a unique color. I really like how all of those different colors complement each other. It sort of comes out looking sort of like a purpley silver. So I'll have to see how that does with the rescue method of putting thinner in it and see if I can't bring that back to life. But that again was Mad as a Hatter. Next up is this from Nailteaks. For some reason I'm having a hard time thinking about how to pronounce that. Nailteaks? Never heard of it, but this is a Formula 2 nail protein. It is for soft peeling, bitten, weak, or thin nails. So it's a nail treatment of some kind. It could be an interesting thing to try to sort of just in general strengthen the nail and help keep it healthy. So that's a nice thing to try. Next is another OPI. This one is Alpine Snow. Now, white nail polishes are one of those things that I've slowly been growing attached to. I actually really enjoy how they look in winter, also in spring and summer. So I've been trying to expand my collection of white nail polishes, and I really don't remember if this is one that I have. It's possible that I do already have it. However, white is another one of those, sort of like a basic black cream nail polish that can be a really good base for a lot of other manis and nail polishes. So this one's definitely worth hanging on to, and it does seem to be in good shape. Just needs a bit of a shake because it has a bit of separation going on. But that again was Alpine Snow. Then we've got this little peachy color from Zoya. This one is called Coal, and this is definitely a light peach. I feel on camera it's sort of brightening it up into a yellow tone, but in person it is definitely a very pale peach. I'm not sure how I'm gonna like this on my skin tone with peaches especially. I feel like they almost have to have a little bit more orange in them or a little bit more pink, otherwise they don't flatter my skin tone that much. I do have a couple that I've tried on, well, over the last year to 2 years, probably closer to 2 years, that I just really have not liked on my skin tone, like at all. So we'll have to see how Coal does, if it looks good on my nails or not. But in any case, that one was from Zoya, and that was Coal. Next is this one from, I was going to say Essie. So this is a Fill the Gap. So this is a ridge filling base coat, which is perfect because I have been thinking about getting one of these. Not necessarily for a ridge in my nail, but if you've watched a couple of my What I Wore videos where I go over all of the manicures that I've done in a month, I like to do topper manis, which is actually what I'm wearing right now. So basically what that is that means that I've done my manicure and then in a couple of days I've wanted to change it up and maybe not had time, started it too late in the evening where I knew I didn't have time to remove everything, start from scratch, start with a base coat and all the way up to a top coat. And so I just put over like a topper or a sheer polish perhaps and just layer it. So in some cases, if you have glitter underneath and you're putting a cream on top of it, it's not going to work very well because you have texture already. So I was curious to try something like this, like a Fill the Gap or a ridge filling base coat, and see if that can help sort of even and smooth out the nail before you go ahead and do a topper mani. But we'll see. In any case, this is an Essie, which is really a really good value, and that was Fill the Gap. Next up is a Sally Hansen. This is in their Mega Strength formula. This one is called Class Act, and this is a pretty classic red. It might be a bit of a white toned red, if that makes any sense. A little bit on the creamy side. I will have to compare how this is to a few of my other reds in my collection. Red is another one of those polishes that I feel I don't wear. In fact, I don't know the last time that I have wore a red polish, like this color of red, not a burgundy and not a pinky red, but an actual red. And I think it's because they feel so bright on the nail. Maybe vibrant is more of a correct term, but they feel so attention getting on the nail, which is kind of funny considering I like purples, but that's how my mind works. Is a red seems so attention grabbing on the nails somehow that I just don't wear them all that often. However, this is an interesting shade of red, so I would be curious to see how this compares to the ones that I have kept in my collection and see if I actually like this and maybe give it a try. Perhaps it would be a good color on the toes. That might be a good idea. So this again was Sally Hansen Class Act. Whoops. Get those in view there. Next up is another OPI. This is, I believe, another one in their DS line. So this is DS Classic. I have been finding these a bit more frequently now. In fact, I just got one at Grocery Outlet. I'm going to be saving that for another haul, but it is a DS line at your grocery outlet. So if you have grocery outlets nearby you, I suggest keeping an eye out for those nail polishes because every once in a while you find some really good ones. So this one in Classic is a really beautiful shade, sort of a sand color in the neutral range, but full of holographic. Look at that. That's rather spectacular, especially for a non-indie, for a mainstream brand. That is beautiful. Now in person it is a bit less washed out than I feel it's coming across in camera. Now I think that's probably because what my camera's catching is the gleam off of that holographic and sort of washing it out. But you see the tone up there at the top of the bottle? that is more throughout the entire polish. So that is hopefully what it's going to look like on the nail. It's a really beautiful tone, very sandy, sort of neutral, a bit on the tan side, almost like a camel color. So this should be a beautiful one to try. Might be a nice one to go into the fall. So that's definitely one that I'm happy to have. Another from OPI in the DS line, and that was DS Classic. Next, we've got another one from Zoya. This one is called Mia. This is a really nice soft pink. Definitely needs a good shake there, but this is in the shade range of pink that I really like. It is a little bit on the neutral side, almost like a putty color, if that makes any sense. It looks very much like vintage silly putty in my opinion, and excuse the marks on my hand. I just noticed that I have those. For my job, I do some repairs on some furniture, and I was using some wood markers, and I thought I got it all off of my hand, but apparently I was mistaken. So apologies about that, but this is a really beautiful, soft, sort of blush neutral, really nice, sort of a blush pink. Really nice. I do like these shades. These are one of those pinks that I do wear. In fact, if you've seen the preview where I was trying to organize my pink nail polishes, I have a lot in this shade family because I do like it that much. So we'll see how this compares to a few of my others. I do plan on doing some swatches of it here soon, hopefully in a different format than what I was doing for my reds. I think part of the reason I sort of stalled out on my massive task of organizing was the way I was trying to swatch them all was a lot of work. So I'm going to be trying to go through my nail polish collection a bit more strategically and sort of swatch selectively. So hopefully you'll see some videos coming up of that, of comparisons of shades exactly like this. So this again was Zoya, and this one was Mia. Next up is another one from OPI. This one is My Vampire is Buff. This is an interesting shade because it's an off-white, almost leaning towards like an eggnoggy tone. So just to compare it to Alpine Snow, you can see the difference here. Alpine Snow is definitely a true stark white, whereas My Vampire is Buff is, well, a buff tone. So that pinch of sand to sort of give the buff tone to that color. So just a little comparison there for you. Now, I definitely don't have anything like this, so I'm curious to see how I like it on my skin tone. However, one of the things that I recently discovered about tones like this is even if I don't enjoy wearing them on their own, these actually make a really beautiful undie for iridescent toppers. Again, that one was OPI's My Vampire is Buff. And lastly, in this second bag from Goodwill is this one by C&D Vinylux, and this one is called Dazzling Dance. And this is a very, very interesting shade. I'm curious to see if it ends up being more of a topper. It does need a good shake here, and it might be that this was meant to be a topper. It is this very interesting blue-green jelly base. You've got some scattered holographic glitter in there, and then of course that purple that you're seeing is a beautiful glowy shimmer in it. Really interesting polish. This I definitely don't have anything like in my collection. Very interesting. Now I think something like this would look really beautiful over a color like this to sort of push off of, so you still get that tone of that green base with this as an undie, and then all of that purple is going to bounce off of that green tone. But this could also look beautiful over a bunch of different colors, so I'll be curious to play around with that a bit more and also see if it does build up nicely on its own. But just look at all that holographic goodness, so beautiful. So that again was C&D Vinylux, and that was Dazzling Dance. So there you have it. That was my Goodwill haul for the day. I think I did pretty good, and I got 10 OPIs for $10 plus a couple of Zoyas, an Essie, and some Sinful Colors and other nail polishes. Really happy with what I ended up with. Let me know down below which ones were your favorites, and if you have any of these, and if you've worn them before, make sure to like and subscribe for more nail polish videos here on my channel, and I'll see you next time.